I don't know, man. This is terrible.
That's kind of cool.
What he does, this is what he does. Because I complain, because the show's dying, right?
Is it?
Powerful Truth Angels is in its death rattles, everybody. This is probably the last episode.
Really? I'm honored to be on it.
Yeah, this is the final. I'm just going to call it here. This is the final episode of Powerful Truth. This is Powerful Truth Angels final episode today.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, fireside chat, two-tone, Dr. Nipples, Powerful Truth Angels. Why did we do it? Why did we keep going? And why are we ending tonight? Only God knows.
Why do we do anything?
You know when
He's muttering.
He's
muttering off mic. It's worse. He's the most muttering son of a bitch. I will be glad to be rid of the muttering.
I'm humble. I don't think what I have to say is that important.
No, that's not. No. That's terrible. That's not humble. That's just terrible. You can be humble and be clear and enunciate. Use your words. He just goes.
He's mumbling.
He goes. I don't even. Well, the thing is, if I think of I put Star Wars there because
he's a humble mumbler.
He puts
Got it.
he puts things on my table that he knows I'm going to react to try to piss me off, to incite some sort of discourse, so we have content for the podcast.
We're talking about Star Wars today.
No, we're not.
Okay,
I just hate that. I hate this bit, and I want to throw this shit out the window, but I'm not that much of an asshole. This is girlfriend's baby Yoda. Please get this out of here, please. I don't ever want to see this in my house again, ever. I don't ever want to see a baby Yoda. This is somewhat tolerable. A rat. That's kind of cool. Like that.
What's
alone,
that supposed to evoke?
Less is more. You just put the rat on the table. Take all this other shit. Fucking Star Wars bullshit. I fucking hate Star Wars. Sorry, I hate it.
I didn't watch it until the pandemic. I never watched Star Wars.
I'll watch it, but I fucking kind of hate it. And I'll still watch it because I'll watch anything that's that big of a spectacle. When they're putting, $16,000 million into something, I'm gonna give it a watch.
Yeah, of course.
You want to see where all the money goes. And 9 times out of 10, it's fucking horse shit. But I will say that I watch it, but I'm not I just hate the cult of Star Wars. As a matter of fact,
yeah.
I hate the cult of everything. I hate that there's people who are so into Disney that
that's a little regressive.
Well, they have a season pass. They dress up like the characters. They go to the park.
The hats.
They go there and they're like, they've been so brainwashed that they're fucking apex level consumers. And they're like, I have the Disneyland Day Pass. I have the Disneyland ears. I go there. I spend $300 a day on just whatever the fuck. Like they're just so and there's people that they base their whole identity around Disney.
That's dark.
I know this isn't news to anybody, but it's to me it's like. It's another indication that, again, I always touch on this, that America is I think we're actually in the drain and we're looking up as we spin down it. I think it's a rat.
Wow. Like the podcast.
Yeah, like the podcast.
The termination.
What'll last longer, America or this podcast? I'm going to further emphasize how much disdain I have for the show by clipping my nails on the air. And I know someone out there is going to be disgusted.
What are you using?
Oh, these are my toenail clippers.
That's creative.
Yeah. Yeah. How's it going, Dr. Nipples?
I'm doing okay.
How terrible is that? Clipping your nails on the air? It's gotta make someone want to die.
Yeah.
Someone out there has to just be so skeeved. Yeah. They're just having a seizure right now.
I'm doing okay. I'm medium.
You're
I'm
medium.
Not great. I'm not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an honest.
I'm medium. To be honest, yeah.
Yeah, you're medium.
I'm bringing myself honestly to this podcast today.
Yeah, you got to bring honesty.
Yeah.
You have to bring honesty to the show, and because it's in the title.
It is.
Another thing I wanted to change was I want to do a full redo. I want to do a full rebrand. The problem is I don't have fucking time because I have real jobs. I have other real jobs.
Yeah, you're doing well.
I'm okay. I'm doing okay, but I have full-time commitments.
Yeah.
And this is a thing that I love doing, but it's I don't know. And what am I doing? What am I actually doing? I'm a 38-year-old podcaster. I'm too old to be doing this shit. I'm like Riggs in Lethal Weapon. I'm too old for this shit.
What would justify doing it? More income?
Absolutely.
More viewers?
Yeah. If I was making, I don't know, let's say I just pulled in 50 racks a year on this, I'd be like, okay, I could do this.
Okay.
Yeah,
it has to make sense.
I think so. Yeah. Right now, it doesn't make sense. Mm-mm. Jason's chased away all our sponsors. It's either me eating apples on the air or my horrible ad reads, one of the two. But the sponsors are drying up. The Discord is revolting again. I don't even go in the Discord anymore because every time I go in there, they're trying to tar and feather me. I'm kidding.
Really?
No, they're fine. I love the Discord. I haven't been in there in a minute because I've been so busy and I get stressed out and I don't go in there. But the Discord will probably carry on long after the show is dead.
Yeah.
Omar, come get your snacks. She doesn't want them. I'll save them for later. So
I had a really good idea for a show.
Okay.
Boring fans, where you just watch people do like mundane tasks.
Oh, boring fans.
Yeah, you can just like clip your nails for
But
an
that's
hour.
like that's still gonna be kink though, right? Put these up here for later. Someone will clean that. Disgusting.
Can I say something with some sincerity before we get
Yeah,
into
please
this?
do. Please do.
Yeah, I wanted
Scoot your chair.
okay. I wanted to thank you for helping Cliff.
Oh.
A mutual friend. It really means a lot to me, and I was actually meaning to call you
Oh.
and just thank you for being so sincere and sweet and helpful and helping save his life essentially.
Oh. I mean,
I think you are, so thank you so much.
I am duty bound by the code of the group that I'm in
Yeah,
to help people that want to be helped.
yeah,
Here's the thing with Cliff. He wants help. We're all helping him. I drop him in the group and everyone's fucking
yeah.
we, not to put his business out there, but we got him somewhere. He's doing good.
Good.
He's checking in with Renee, fan of the show. I mean, member of the show, not a fan. Hi, Renee.
Yeah, he's got a lot of fellowship.
Yeah, which is huge.
Yeah,
For
sure.
Clifford's a sweet fucking. You can tell he's a sweet guy.
Great guy.
He just is like. I mean, can we talk about Clifford's business?
I think he'd be honored.
Can we talk about? I mean, Clifford is actually. Listen, the name Clifford is anonymous. So let's just say this person called Clifford that we know,
Yes.
who called in, he's an alcoholic. I mean, I'm not supposed to say that.
He said it.
He
Yeah,
said,
there's
I know, but
anonymity.
still, I'm not supposed to. I'm not supposed to.
Anonymity. I get it.
I'm also not supposed to talk about his thing, but I'll say that a person I know drinks so much fucking Coors or Bud Light, one of those two things.
Bud Light. It's Bud Light.
It's Bud Light.
Bud Light
This-
addict. Yeah.
He's a Bud Light addict. He's this beautiful vintage type of alcoholic who actually is hooked on alcohol. Because everyone in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous is on heroin. In LA, especially in East LA, in the East Side, probably in Venice too. It's like cocaine, heroin. LA up where I'm at is heroin, pills. Every single person there is on fucking heroin. Now it's like fentanyl and oxy and shit.
Jesus.
So it's very rare that you just find a beautiful alcoholic in the wild,
pure.
who's pure. He's just a pure blood. We're all day walkers. He's a pure blood.
Yeah.
And he just like the dude drinks so much fucking Bud Light that his liver's shutting down.
Yes.
And it's like, and I have friends. It's really weird. The thing with AA is that like some people stay, some people get it, some people don't get it. There's no saying who's going to ever do what. The guy you think, some guy you'll meet a guy and he asks you to sponsor him and it goes terrible. And some guy you meet and you're like, this guy is a real fucking shithead. He stays on forever and does the work. Like you just don't know.
Yeah.
And Clifford is, he's fighting the good fight, and we hope the best for him because we know that he wants it, And if you want it bad enough, and you're willing to do the steps it takes to do the stuff, then we'll back you up.
Yeah. You went above and beyond for him. That's great.
No, I did. I didn't go above and beyond. I just offered. I barely did anything. I just offered like whatever little help I could give him.
All right. Well, nevertheless, it means a lot, and I thank you so much.
Oh,
Because
thank
I
you.
was here when that relationship kind of started.
Right.
When he called in. So thank you for helping my good friend out.
I'm happy to, man. I'm happy to help anyone that's in the same bind I was in.
Yeah.
And still existentially, possibly always in on some level.
Theoretically, it could
Right.
happen. Yeah.
Any minute. You could listen right now. This could happen. Theoretically, this could happen. You could just say, "Hey, I have some great fucking pure Bolivian coke that I'm going to test in front of you for fentanyl." You could actually not even say anything. You pull it out while we're talking, and you test strip or fentanyl. Show me the strip and lay it out. And it's just beautiful. And I just, by some strange twist of the mind, I go,
Some
okay.
justification. That makes sense.
I
today.
go, and your mind can just go, I'll have one. It's like Fig Newtons, man. And next thing you know, you're 3 sleeves down and you're watching episodes of Friends drinking, oat milk, crying because you wish you were bulimic.
That sounds better than doing a bunch of coke.
It's way better than doing it. But it's all the same to me.
Yeah. No. I get it.
Cocaine, wheat thins, porn, jujitsu. It's all, some of those are good.
Some of them are positive.
3 of them are bad. 1 of them is good.
Yeah.
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 So,
for sure.
Dr. Nipples,
Yes, sir.
He's a man of letters.
Yes.
He's a man of letters. You look different today. What did you shave something?
I want a new face.
He wants a new face.
Yeah.
What did you do though?
I shaved it.
What did you have?
I had a beard.
You had a beard. Yeah.
Yeah,
You look great.
Thank you.
You look so clean. You also look like the last time you came in, you were tanner. Am I wrong?
Maybe.
Have you just been out sunning your bun somewhere?
I think I'm tanner now.
You're tanner now? You look lighter now.
I wear sunblock.
Okay. I see. I don't wear sunblock.
So maybe, yeah.
I should wear sunblock.
Yeah, the sun ages you.
I've never concerned because I have an ageless face. My hair is gray, but my face, I have the face of a baby.
Yeah, you don't have crow's feet.
I don't
either.
crow's
Yeah,
feet.
we don't have those. Yeah.
No.
A little lines in the forehead.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm doing good.
You're doing great.
Yeah. I told my girlfriend is much younger than me. I'm like, you're more wrinkled than I am. And she told her mom, and her mom thought it was funny. She's half my age, and she has more wrinkles. A testament to melanin. Cheers.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Look at him. Look how excited he is to wear his Viking hair down. This is how it starts. You watch one movie, and next thing you know, you're at a fucking rally in Orange County, and you're fucking wearing steel-toe boots and stomping stomping pro-abortion women to death because you believe in the right for white children.
You got to protect the bloodline.
Oh my God, is he on mic? Did he say that on mic?
I'll say anything on mic, man. I'm trying to save the show here.
He's trying to save the show. Don't save the show by getting yourself canceled. So yeah, Dr. Nipples, as I was saying, Jason went to see the Northman.
I heard, yeah, he told me.
And he came, it's so nice to see somebody be moved by a piece of film or art. Excuse me. And I think have the ability to be, and I'm happy that I have the ability to still be blown away by things, even if they aren't good, because I still have the ability, because I'm kind of a what's the word when you're kind of sappy? What is that?
A sucker?
No, Jason, I'm being sincere, and he's being an asshole. Yeah. When you have a kind of a part of you is like
sentimental.
Yeah, I'm sentimental. It's kind of like it's like I'm kind of a sentimentalist in a sense that like what I'm leading up to is that I saw the movie Everything Anywhere All the Time. You know,
I heard that was great.
I loved it, and I talked to other people, and they're like, I was meandering, I didn't like it, but I totally got into the whole like the plot line with the family and all this stuff going on. Like it tugged at my, like there's a part of me that is like super, you know, I can't think of the word, but I'm not a sucker. Sentimental, yeah.
Susceptible, vulnerable.
No, it's like in between sappy and sentimental. It's just killing me. Either way, that's great radio. I have a
Saccharin.
You know, that's too sweet. Anyways, we'll move on from that. This is terrible radio. But I saw Everything Everywhere All the Time. I loved it. I thought it was fucking fresh. I talked to someone else and they said, oh, I had too many different endings, which I didn't mind because I was like fully invested. And I love that I was able to leave a movie and still as jaded and cynical as I can be, still be excited and be, you know, my girlfriend took me. She didn't tell me anything about it. I went in blind and I'm watching, what the fuck is going on? And I'm watching. I was like, oh, this is amazing. I loved it. I thought it was great. And this is what happened with Jason and the Northman. He went to see the Northman. It spoke to him on like a cellular level. He came into my house and he goes, listen, I'm different now. I'm a different person. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like he was already leaning that. He already has medieval leanings, right? And he already has medieval leanings and he sees this movie and he's like, oh, it finally makes sense.
It all clicked.
I'm a Viking.
Yeah.
I'm not like the super handsome blonde type of Viking, but I'm another kind of Viking.
Like a minstrel or something.
Yes, again, he's the sword carrier. He cleans up like, you know, Viking shit, and he probably makes them food. But he wants to fight. He has the heart of a lion, but he's trapped in the body of a stork.
There is a minstrel in the movie played by a very famous actor, and it's one of the few depictions of a minstrel, and it's really good.
Okay, no more spoilers. Jason,
that's all I'll say.
Jason, can you please, just for Dr. Nipples, so we can further psychoanalyze you, because we're going to, can you do the opening of Conan, please?
Okay. That is one reason I really like the movie too. It has direct references to Conan, and the actual the beginning of the Northman actually uses the same instrumental pattern as the beginning of Conan. The very first thing you hear is the very first thing.
No more spoilers.
Between the times when the oceans drank Atlantis and the rise of the sons of Arius, there was an age undreamed of. And unto this, Conan, destined to wear the jeweled crown of Aquilonia upon a troubled brow. It is I, his chronicler, who alone can tell thee of his saga. Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Thank you, Jason.
That was great.
You're cleared. Okay, first of all, he knows
it by heart. Yeah,
he knows it by heart.
That's
So,
impressive.
Jason, you had to. Why did you learn that?
That's a good question.
I don't think it was just from watching the movie a lot.
I mean, that is a good question. I mean, it is from watching the movie a lot, but it's from such a dedication to the movie that you start to like want to quote lines from it.
Okay, but you taught yourself how to quote that.
Yeah, and I also did a parody of it for an English project.
There it is.
High school.
It got into your deep,
junior year.
early child grooves.
Imprinting.
Well, I listened to the
Imprinting.
soundtrack when I was a little kid a lot because my parents exposed me to it, namely my dad. And then
Your dad exposed you.
yeah, and then yeah,
We'll talk about that
and
soon.
then thank you for being here, Mr. Nipples.
Excuse me, Dr.
then-
Nipples.
Sorry.
Dr. Nipples. Mr. Nipples is my dad. That's Dr. Nipples.
And then in high school, I watched Conan the Barbarian, and everything finally made sense.
Okay, fantastic. So listen,
yeah.
speaking of the minds, the malleable sponge-like brains of children. When I was a kid, I used to take judo classes. Back when judo was called jiu-jitsu, but it wasn't Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So it's a lot of tumbling, right?
Yeah.
A lot of tripping, tumbling. I took it at the Y when I was a kid, and it's imprinted in my brain. There's grooves in my brain that still remember that stuff. So when I started doing jiu-jitsu, everyone's like, this dude knows judo.
Like he's natural.
Because I'd stand up, I would just knock people over and I was like, no, I just know the basic shit from being a kid.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how whatever you bang into a kid's head at that point, at that age, whatever that receptive age is, I don't know what it is, but it's probably from like 2 to fucking 12, right? Whatever you get in there is gonna stick. That's why you got to teach your kid languages.
Yes. It can be positive and negative.
Probably, yeah. Teach them how to be great lovers, which can make you look weird as a parent. Right?
Exposing.
Or teach them, like, I always think about having children and being like, guess what? We're all parrots. Or like, guess what? Our religion is meerkats, and we're all going to worship the garbage disposal. Just see what kind of cool kids you can make in the world. Because if you're brought up in a cult, you don't know you're in a cult.
No.
Right?
Not at all.
Or if you're brought up, I guess if you're brought up terribly, you do know because it doesn't feel good. But if you're brought up in some weird thing where, like, you're taught to worship the houseplants, that's just life. And until you get out in the world, you don't know how fucking weird you are. But what is weird, Dr. Nipples?
Weird is on a spectrum, I think.
Yeah.
There's things that are pathological, like if you cut yourself while jacking off, that's weird.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Maybe not even in some circles.
I knew a guy that used to sleep with a girl and told me that when he would go down on her, she would cut above her vagina so the blood would run into his mouth.
I get it.
You get it. You're there. You're kind of a creep, huh?
Not a creep. I have a lot of allowance for.
You have a lot of
things-
allowance for perversion.
for mine.
For quote unquote perversion.
Yeah, I'm pretty open.
As a shrink, and you're not a practicing shrink anymore.
I'm not. I have one client.
You do?
I have one patient. Yeah.
No,
I do.
You have one client?
I do.
You have one client that pays you $10,000 a month?
No, it's very little money. I just love her and I want to help her.
Oh my God, that's
a
so
little
nice.
Sweet, yeah.
What made you give up the therapy game?
In business I'm in now does really well, and I can
Yeah.
live the lifestyle I want to live and not have to do that. And I have community there. I have friends there. It's creative. I'm my own boss. I have a business partner.
With the piercing studio?
Yeah. High-end jewelry, tattoos, piercings. So, I mean, it's a good thing I got going on. And that's where I want to put most
It's
of my
so
attention.
interesting to move from psychotherapy. It was psychotherapy, right?
It was, yeah, because I didn't think that that would be the piercing stuff would be a viable career option.
Yeah.
Nor would have been had I stayed where I was at. So once I took the leap of faith and just did the business, it took off and it worked out well. So then the therapy thing didn't seem like a really attractive option.
But that's such a
anymore.
weird move to go from like doing all, like you have to go to school for what, 8 years or something?
Yeah, it took me about a decade.
It took you a decade of school.
Oh yeah, with the there's internships where you got to do all
Right.
the hours.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much a decade.
And can you anonymously talk about some of your craziest clients?
Yeah, I think so.
Any shit eaters in your repertoire?
I could tell you something.
I would love to hear something.
I don't know. This is like well, I'm not gonna say his name, but
Yeah.
there was a guy who he thought he fucked a dog.
He thought he did.
I had to work with him that he didn't actually.
Really?
Yeah, he was very sick. He had something called what was it? Schizoaffective disorder, which is a combination of bipolar disorder and a psychotic disorder.
Right.
So it's like having schizophrenia and bipolar disorder.
Oh no.
So he was a messed up kid. I don't want to tell you how it happened, the break happened, but he was convinced that he did that, but he didn't. There was some sexual activity when he was young, but he would, kids experiment. I didn't really think of it as that crazy, but he would go around telling psychiatrists and therapists that he fucked
the dog
and his family. Like it was a confessional thing.
I fucked the family dog.
Yeah.
I fucked Bitsy, the cute golden retriever, right up the ass. It's terrible. Or in the vagina, maybe.
That's pretty much the
dogs have vaginas. They do.
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah.
that's pretty much the craziest.
Elmer has a vagina. I'm pretty sure.
That was the craziest story that I think I.
And when you're because I think about my shrink sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I think about like this volume of, the amount of shit I've dumped on her, and her watching me just like wallow in misery for decades, just being like, I can't figure this out, and like I'm on the other side of that now. It took me like a very long time of like
me too
repeated just like chop wood, carry water, walking, the fucking Sisyphean task of trying to fucking get a fucking grasp on your own psychology. It's a lifelong project, right?
Absolutely.
And I think about her and I'm like, fuck, to intake all of that information and human emotion multiple times a day, maybe 5 times a day on a bad day. Maybe it's 8, maybe you do 8 sessions, who knows?
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, that's got to be just to put that in your fucking hard drive is got to be tough. So. It's got to be intense. Maybe part of that for you was like you didn't want to take all this human suffering.
I didn't.
The humanity is too much.
I struggled a lot in my 20s, and I thought I had these really high-minded aspirations and lofty goals, like saving the world.
Yeah.
And then once I got a little healthier, I think I just want to live a normal life.
You didn't save the world.
Fuck no, not even close.
He's like, you know what? I'm either going to save the world or pierce nipples. And he decided he took the higher road. There's a higher calling. Instead of helping dog fuckers and shit eaters worldwide, he's like, I'm gonna pierce some belly buttons and do some snake tattoos. You don't do tattoos. You just pierce.
We have 9 tattoo artists.
9
at Oak and Poppy. Yeah.
What's it called? What's your spot called?
Oak and Poppy.
Oak and Poppy.
Yeah.
Is it like what is it like a new breed of tattoo shop? Kind of like a higher end.
It's higher end boutique, high end jewelry
in the valley.
In the valley,
Oak and Poppy.
Yeah, it's great.
Is it walk in or?
Yeah, we do walk in. A lot of it's appointment only because we're really busy. But yeah, you can walk into it.
How was it during pandemic?
We had to shut down for 3 months.
But like, quote unquote, like.
Yeah, for most of the pandemic, but initially in the nascent stages of it, when everyone was freaking out, it was completely closed. Nobody
knew what to do.
No one knew what to do. Everyone was panicked. So I don't know even if we were open, I don't think anyone would have showed up. But ultimately, once things opened up and they shut us down again, we just, of course, you come out through the back, everything looks
everyone's
closed
like
in the front.
Everybody got to a point and said, fuck it.
We had to. We wouldn't have survived had we not done that. So
it's such a crazy time. Like when the pandemic first hit, I remember going out, like getting hit with all this information. Like there was a doctor on YouTube who said, he goes, listen, COVID, it's like glitter. And imagine when you pour a bag of glitter on something, how long it stays with you. So he's like, it's all over your, like, so he put in my head that there's imaginary glitter on everything in the world. So if it came into your house, you had to, so I was washing groceries. That's what this doctor told us. I was taking groceries in, putting, like, washing them. And now I'm like, what the you leave I would leave a package outside for like a couple days so like the glitter would die.
Oh my god.
And I remember going outside and literally feeling like I was walking on the moon. Like I remember walking around outside and being like, what, like it was like all new, like
Twilight Zone kind of shit.
There is some, listen, I think there's some validity to the hydrogen. I always talk about this too. I mean, this is why I'm canceling the show today, because I'm just rehashing the same shit all the time. But the Hadron Collider, what is that thing, Jason? Are you? Oh, see how bored he is of my shit? He doesn't even Google it anymore. He goes, the Large Hadron. I think, remember they said that the Large Hadron Collider, when they fired it up like 8 years ago or whatever, they said it might cause a shift in reality. And ever since then, everything's gotten crazy. Like everything crazy that could imagine the condensed time period of 2 years, the amount of things that happened. It's not over yet. We're still not done.
No.
But the amount of terrible things, the fucking COVID, the riots, the fucking Trump, all these things, like the storming the Capitol, now Ukraine, like it's just, we're on this, like, I feel like America, we've, in our generation especially, has just been on this, like, we've just been like, we all have all these problems, but they're so solipsistic and like, it's like baby fucking problems. Like, oh man, my mommy hates me, you know, and I, like, we've had, as Americans, we've just had this great, like, everyone's like, you know, doing, like, not everyone's not doing well because people fucking socioeconomically fucked people are fucked.
But we're privileged.
America as a whole is privileged.
Yes. We could worry about things we don't really have to worry about.
Right. And then we just got all this bad news in the course of 2 years. And it might be a wrap for everybody. Who knows? It could happen. We're at that point where it's like, it could be nuclear. I mean, we could do nuclear holocaust soon. Putin's not all there, you know?
No. If he's going down, he'll take everyone with him.
I think he will. I think that he's like, I was listening to this thing on the Daily, and it did this whole trajectory of like how Trump was basically trying to institute himself in the same way that Putin and other dictators have, where you just kind of like, you get yourself into another term and another term and you start bending the rules. That's what Putin's done, right?
Yeah.
He just changed the rules while he was there. And like the whole thing with the Capitol is like, he was close to calling martial law. It was like all this shit. And it keeps kind of going to this whole thing. And they go into this whole thing about Obama. And they said Obama fucked up because he belittled Putin. He said he belittled him in the press. And he said that was the start of a lot of this because Putin's so thin-skinned.
Yeah.
And so just like, you know, he's just a guy who has too much shit and is terrified of everything and can't handle any criticism. So if you criticize him, you die. And Obama started the trajectory here. Trump made it worse by by diminishing the Ukraine because, you know, Trump and all of them are in bed with the Russians. Like it's super clear if you trace it all. It's all fucked up. It's also all fucked up too. Like on both sides, it's all so corrupt and terrible. Like the politicians, like there's no one doing the job of a politician who wants to do the job of a politician. No. They're all there to like become powerful and make everyone around them rich and themselves, of course. But like, I don't think anyone there is actually truthful. Like they just know like these people are like, we're going to give everyone free tits. And these people are like, they all want free tits, you know, like, and they just kind of bounce off each other. It's like, they want your kid to marry a fucking bat, you know? And like, these people are like, they're going to take away urinals, you know, where the fuck, like, and they just keep playing, you know? And like, they're both fucking, it's both out of control. Like, cause everyone's playing this like world WWF high level fucking bullshit game. And none of them believe it. I don't think. Yeah. I don't think they believe about, like, I don't think these people like on the right do you think they really give a fuck about religion? They're just playing the religious fucking
theatrics.
It's all theatrics. But like, and everyone is in for this like political cash grab, and like the fucking everyone's out to get blood financially, and no one's ever going to stop. And I just think it's too late. I do. I think we're like, everyone laughs at me. My girlfriend, everyone laughs at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, we've gone too far. Like everyone,
we passed the threshold.
We've gone too far. Listen, everyone can't be rich and famous. Like, no. And now with cryptocurrency, which big crypto holders, and I'm just a good. I got some. I fuck around. Yeah, but too. I also am like, dude, 17-year-old kids can become billionaires.
Absolutely.
That's going to disrupt the whole economy of the world. It's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Everyone is not supposed to have access to this much money this fast and this easily. It's fucked up. Like, we're going to be paying $700,000 for a fucking burrito pretty soon.
Yeah, the inflation is fucking
right. It's fucking fucked.
Yeah, it is.
So
you're not wrong.
Cheers, Mazel.
I think we still have time to turn it around.
We can't. Here's the one thing. Just one thing alone. Just one thing. The environment. Unfixable.
You think that's done?
If we stop today and everyone around the world decided we're all going electric, fuck fossil fuel. If everyone made that decision worldwide, Hakuna Matata, we are the world, let's do it.
Still too late.
We could turn it around, possibly. But that's never going to happen.
Not too much money.
These fucking old jiggly throat frog faced sons of
They'll
bitches
die
are like,
soon.
Huh?
They'll die off soon.
Yeah, but now they're raising these young demon spawn who are like the far right racist dudes now have these like young bucks who are just like fired up and they're like, and they just want to get money too. Like I don't even know if they're actually racist. They probably fucking,
No, they'll wear whatever hat they have to get the money they want to get.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's a wild time to be alive.
You know what's telling me is I'm not on social media anymore.
Oh, thank God.
And I don't listen to news. I'm just lost in my own little.
It might be the way to go.
It's not bad. I care about the people in my life.
Yeah.
That's
all you can do.
Yeah, and I try to be charitable to them and help them. I don't donate to charities, but I feel like in my circle, I'm a charitable
Try to be good
guy.
to the people around you.
Yeah.
My girlfriend wants to have kids, and I would say to her, I would go, hey, we're leaving. We're gonna have kids and raise them in a charred wasteland. She's like, I want to have kids. And then my shrink's like, people have kids. And I go, okay, fuck it. You want to have kids? We'll have kids. 50-50 though, that they're going to be like eating squirrels
and
like drinking water from like the butts of dead people. You know what I mean? Like 50-50 shot. So if we want to be selfish so you can have some little Teletubbies to play with, all right, baby, let's go. You want to just fucking knock them out.
So your relationship's getting serious. The kid talk.
Yeah, we're pretty serious.
I like that.
She wants to do the whole thing. And I'm like, I think you're the best. You're the best person I've ever had as a girlfriend. Like the best human I've ever had as a girlfriend in my life.
So that took you a while to get that.
For sure.
Yeah.
She was like,
I'm still looking for that.
You're still looking.
Yeah.
Well, it's also this is a trick though. And you coming from, you had a troubled past. I can tell your 20s were a rap, etc. Same.
Yeah.
The problem is too, is that you can have it and not know even how to accept it and know that it's okay to have it and be with it. And like, you can struggle with that.
You got to feel worthy of it.
You got to feel worthy. And that's a whole other fucking ball of wax.
That's a whole fucking different ball
It's a whole other can of tuna.
Lovable, feeling worthy. Yeah.
Right. Love. Yeah. Being part of a club that would have me, being lovable, being loved. I mean, you can see in people that are brought up in a healthy manner with a functional, like people that are brought up in a functional, healthy family that's like still together. You can see how they like the way they navigate the world is like, there's just all this extra shit they're not dealing with. They're just like, it's
all irrelevant. It doesn't get in.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just gonna go here and like my girlfriend's like always going on vacation. I want to be angry at her and be like, get the fucking work. But like the reality is like she has the ability to. She works. She has a full real corporate job, and she's just like, I'm going to New York for 3 days. I'm gonna go here, and I'm like. And part of me is like wants to be a fucking asshole and be like, why don't you have another job like me? Why aren't you shackled to a computer like I am? Like you have to fight for when the reality is that's how people enjoy their lives. Like she knows how to enjoy life. I have to fight to enjoy my life. Like because I'm so like I have to do this, I have to do that. If I don't get up and do this, I don't do this fucking stupid podcast. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
and like
I do. I can relate. When I go on vacation, I get dysregulated for the first like 2 or 3, 4 days. Like I am not having a good time.
No.
Because I have such a routine.
No, you need a week to defrost. Yeah. We're going on vacation in August, and it's just 12 days. And I go, fuck, I need 3 weeks. 12 days is like I'm just gonna get comfortable and go home.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna get home, not be able to work for a week because I'm gonna be like,
then you got to reintegrate. Yeah.
So her answer is just more vacations, which is like she's enjoying her life, which is what you're supposed to do.
Sometimes I have that realization, and then it goes away.
And I'm like, my thing is like, if I fucking hustle hard enough now, I'm gonna chill later. But I'm never gonna fucking chill. I'm gonna be working like this until I'm fucking 80. You like the struggle,
right? You like
it.
I like
to
do
fight.
too. I like the hustle.
I like to fight.
I do too. I want to keep going.
You gotta keep going. Sorry, I still. Yeah, I mean, listen. If my only job was to podcast, I feel like I could destroy podcasting. Like if my everyday focus was how to make this podcast better, and like how to promote it, and I think I would be killing.
Yeah, you got it.
I think I could do it. Yeah. But that's not. But this is a thing that I did as a hobby with a guy who abandoned me.
I was going to ask you about that. I was wondering if that was a difficult conversation.
No, it wasn't difficult. Like Maddie's just like, I always give Maddie shit. I love Maddie, but Maddie's like, dude, I'm like, I have a fucking show on FX. Like, what? Like, it's a complete waste of his time.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean that my time is as valuable than his, but his time is more expensive at this moment. Gotcha. Just wait a minute, Maddie, you son of a bitch, because my time will double your time. But No, I think that I understood. I think that he stayed a long time. He did the best he could. And eventually he's like, I can't do it. And like, I was resentful for like 1 hour. Like I was pissed off at him for an hour and I called him like, okay, whatever.
That's great.
Yeah.
You processed it fast.
Yeah. Because I was like, I have no right to be angry at a person who basically like hooked me up with this thing. The problem is that he gave me a platform. We started a platform together based on his platforms. Maddie and I are very dissimilar, as like we're similar in some ways, but we don't have the same, like we're in two different worlds. Like I'm in the streetwear kind of world, LA thing. He's like this Canadian lowest common denominator, fully like worldwide food guy. You guys want some bison? Like that's Maddie's and fucking dude. He's bringing in the bucks.
Yeah, for sure.
He tells me about like he gets paid to like the amount he gets paid to do like a thing, like a collab with a restaurant is like, it's like a high paid doctor's yearly salary for like probably 4 days of work. You know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous.
That's incredible.
It's just like a bag. Here's a bag. Here's a bag. And it's like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Like I can barely hold on to this.
Yeah. So he has to be pretty discerning as to what he invests his time in.
Yeah, but he gave me a year of a year of his time to this thing? He gave over a year. He struggled through COVID. It was unfortunate because right when we started, COVID hit. If we were together, we were going to be together once a month, shoot stuff, do on the road. Like we would have accelerated into something else and done, because every time he's on the show, it goes up. You know, with me on the show, it doesn't. Like the problem with the show is this: like I don't actually know if I'm quitting tonight, but I get frustrated on a weekly basis because I'm like, what am I fucking doing? Why is it not? Why are we like? I feel like we're in a holding pattern, and we have enough of a following that it's hard to let go of it. Like it's just there where it's like there's a following. There's people every time. The problem is every time I see someone, they're like, I really like the show. And they're so sincere that it makes me want to do it. And anyone comes to me and goes, I really like the podcast. And I can tell when they're saying this, it's a different way than they say anything else. People are like, oh, I like the brand, I like this, but they're like, I really like the podcast. And
it's probably helping them. I could see the fans that you have. Like some of those people are struggling, and like you're like a beacon of hope for these guys.
I'm a beacon of hope. Look at him over there with the Yoda doll on the couch.
That's cozy.
Baby Yoda.
I want to have a Yoda doll on the couch and a sweet girlfriend. Just be eating Fig Newtons and oat milk.
Okay,
that sounds nice.
Well, you can't see. This is the thing. You can't eat Fig Newtons and oat milk.
Why not?
Because what happens is you end up snoring. Because when I eat late at night, I snore. I'm fat, so I snore. Right. So I have a mouth guard. But even if I eat late at night, I blow through the mouth guard and just. And my girlfriend, God bless her ever suffering heart, she can't handle it. So, and I'm going to tell you something, Dr. Nipples.
Yeah.
If I just right now said, hey, Dr. Nipples, fuck you, what's your response?
I felt something. My body. Well, fuck you too.
Oh, nice. And with a curveball. As a doctor, if I say to you, Dr. Nipples, fuck you. No, I don't mean that. I feel like Dr. Nipples, when we had Heavy on and Dr. Nipples got angry, I saw the dark side of Dr. Nipples and I was like, oh.
Yeah, he was repulsive.
Which is like for someone who's a shrink, you can never tell, and he's not your patient.
Yeah.
And like my shrink, it took 20 years for her to be able to tell me like, get your shit together. Because she knew anything she said up until then, I'd just spin out. Like what the like I would fucking lose it, you know?
You gotta be delicate sometimes.
You can't call your patients repulsive.
No, I've done it before.
You have?
That's why I don't practice.
You're repulsive?
I have some difficulty with like my filter, yeah.
Oh, really?
Kind of.
Yeah,
There's a guy, he came in stone. I'm like, what are you doing? Like he started like making like accents when he was speaking. I was calling him out like, why do you sound like that?
No. Like different accents, like a French accent?
Yeah, I was like, what is happening? And then after that, he never saw me again.
Can you imagine?
I couldn't handle it. It was gross.
I tell when I talk to, I talk to people who go to therapy and lie to their shrink.
That's such a fucking waste of time.
I'm like,
what is the point?
Why are you wait? You're basically taking money and setting it on fire. And also maybe going backwards. Like there was a friend of mine and she was like, yeah, I'm like, did you tell your shrink about this thing that's happening? She's like, why would I tell them that? I'm embarrassed. I'm like, what the whole fucking point is to unearth like, and even in telling the absolute truth to your therapist, you don't even get to the real truth till like a decade later. Because then you're like, oh, and then you see yourself and you're like, oh my God, I am this, I am that. You start to see yourself clearly for the first time, which like, I couldn't get a full view of myself until I did therapy and AA and had a relapse. And like, I had to like go through so many things to kind of be like, oh, here's what the issue, here's who you are.
Yeah.
And it's nowhere near as bad or as good as you think it is.
Exactly. You have to develop that intimacy with the therapist or sponsor, whatever it is.
Trust.
Exactly. In order to like create a space where you can start exploring things that are difficult.
Yeah.
Like you can't just walk into a room and then talk about the most difficult aspects of your life. You're not going to have the external supports or internal supports to sustain something like that. It will be too much for you.
Right.
So that's why it takes a long time. Like you really have to create conditions to explore these parts of yourself and get honest about it.
It's so funny that I asked Jason to book a piercer, and the piercer that we booked didn't.
I know the guy.
You know the guy.
Adrian.
He's like, I can't do it.
Yeah, he's my friend. He works in my shop.
Oh, he works in the shop. And then he and then he passes it to this guy who's a fucking therapist on the Powerful Truth Angels Network podcast, television show, radio style podcast. That's just such a wild just because as a shrink, we're gonna speak in a common language because I've been in therapy for so fucking long.
Yeah, I could tell. You're like very like attuned to all this stuff.
Yeah, I'm aware.
I could tell when I first met you.
Right.
Yeah, I knew
that the light at least the lights are on. Doesn't mean that the house is stable, but the lights are on in the house.
You can tell you've done work on yourself. Yeah, I could tell the language, the way you're talking.
Right. And I'm like, and I also am like, I don't come from a place where like, growing up, it was like there was a huge part of my life where like I wouldn't even like growing up there, like that wasn't even on the table. Like in the neighborhood I grew up in, I was like, are you kidding me? But then you get to a certain age and I'm like, I'm wallowing here. Like I can't function as a person. And it's not because anything, like I can't make this thing work. Like I used to be so fucked up as a kid, and I've had the same shrink forever. And I used to be so fucked up as a kid that like I would be like, I have to buy a shower curtain today, and I couldn't take myself to the Third Street parking lot to buy a shower curtain.
Yeah,
that task was so oppressive to me.
Wow,
I couldn't do that. So if you're a fuck up, you can get around it. Everyone, trust me. I couldn't figure out how to buy a shower curtain, and then I started making these baby steps, and I was like, and I started like, I think one of the first things was like a guy. I talked about this guy before, J-Fish. He's like, he took an interest in me because I was like a graffiti writer and I was kind of a fuck up and I was getting high, and like, he's like, you should do tattoos. And he's like, he took interest in me, and people have taken interest in me in the past, but this is a guy I related to. He's a tattoo artist. And it was like when I was a kid, he's like, you should do tattoos. And I was like, oh, there's a future for me. I could be a tattoo artist, and like I had this like, and he started teaching me how to draw and do all, and I fully jumped into this thing. It was like one of the first things where like, outside of people trying to teach me in school, which didn't work for me, he taught me like tactile. He's like, here, draw these skulls. Like I can do that. Here's a skull, draw this. I just sat there and drew a skull of, smoking weed, drawing skulls. And then by the time I finished, I had a whole book full of fucking, weird tattoo art. It's just, I should bust it out. It's like terrible 90s, like puffy skulls, like,
There's a lot of graffiti artists that became tattoo artists. AWR guys, like
that's my crew. Yeah.
And Jason Condell.
Yeah, Jason, that's my guy. Yeah, bless one. Yeah, those are like, that's the thing. And like, I remember when writers started becoming tattooers, and there was only one. There was like Scene from New York, and I was like, because we didn't even think it was like possible. I was like, I didn't see a future past graffiti. I was like, what am I gonna do? And then people were like, we're becoming tattoo artists. And my mind was blown. I was like, what? Because being a tattoo artist is like being a fucking like a samurai or something. You're going to like, and it was a different time.
Yeah.
There's a whole different structure. It was like, now you have a cordless machine that apparently you can just lay shit. Like anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Like
I've been around for 20 years, so I've probably around the same time.
Yeah.
I've seen the evolution.
You've seen the evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last time I got tattooed by my buddy Kane. And he was telling me about like the new machines. I'm like, are they good? He's like, they're great. He's like, it's almost like cheating at this point. Like anyone can pick this thing up and tattoo anybody.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, okay, so basically it's like that whole idea, like the gatekeeping thresholding of tattooing was great because you had to get an apprenticeship, like old school.
It wasn't so accessible. It was hard to have access. You really had to go through the ringer, and people got hazed, and it was kind of
you had to clean up. You had to mop the shop floors.
We pay our apprentices. Actually, we give them a living wage so they can learn.
Yeah, that's crazy. Make them lick the toilet.
That's how it used to be.
Yeah, eat cigarettes, all that shit.
Just emotional abuse.
So yeah, back to I hurt my back a couple weeks ago. Okay, this is gonna be a long-winded story to get to where I'm at now. I hurt my back, and even in telling you this, I'm like straightening it up. I hurt my back, and I have a recurring back injury because my whole life I've been focusing on like lifting weights and being strong in the front of my body.
Core.
The back of my body I've neglected. So glutes to hamstrings. Nobody wants to do that. No man.
No, I hate them.
Right? Nobody wants to fucking do.
I don't do them.
The exercises that are shitty. They're just like annoying. I
hate it.
And like laying on a bench and thrusting your hips up with a bar on you is like, I look at people doing it, I'm like, I fucking hate that. I hate you. I don't ever want to do that. Right? And as a reason, I don't hate the person to do that, because usually the people that do it have big old butts. The girls that I see do it. But so yeah, I've been told this over the years, because over the years I'm always hurting my back, and then I go see a chiropractor or a sports therapist, and they go, your hamstrings are weak, your ass is weak, you need to figure out how to work it out. So I work it out for a few weeks, I feel great, and I stop doing it. I go back, I hurt it again, I keep hurting it. The last time I heard it was a couple weeks ago. And my first thing was like, okay, I went to the sports therapist that's in the gym, and he did his thing. He like fixed me up. He's like, okay, now you need to figure out what's next. So I talked to my friend, a woman at the gym, and she was like, okay, I'm going to put you on a program. And while I was doing that, though, I was also taking the downtime. I had a few days off, and my brain, if I'm going forward and exercising and doing all my work, I eat less. When I'm not exercising and doing my work, I eat more. And I go down I start sliding down the hill. Like if I'm going forward and trudging up the hill and doing everything, I do everything well. And I started sliding. And it's like I started saying yes. Like I had shout out to Yeasty Boys Bagels. You ever have their bagels?
I've seen them. I know Heavy has a bagel over there.
He does?
Yeah, they're parked outside.
Don't hold it against them. Don't.
Okay,
Heavy has, it's terrible. But I'll say this. That guy is really cool. He's always been cool. He's always like, hey, can I send you a bagel? I'm like, please don't. Don't send me any bagels. And the other day, because I was in a weak place, he was showing a picture of a bagel on Instagram, and he's breaking the bagel apart. And I instantly didn't even think, and just shot over to the bagel truck. Because I got to have it. It looks so amazing. I'm also, the door's open. So I'm like, let me eat all the shit I don't let myself eat. I go to the bagel truck. The bagel truck shut down. I DM him. I'm like, this kind of advertising works because you broke a bagel in half on Instagram, and it sent me running towards a truck. I'm like, that shit works. He goes, I got you. He sends me a bag of bagels, dude. He sends me a bag with half a dozen bagels, and they're so fresh, and they're so puffy that you can't even get into the hole. They're just they fill the hole in.
Wow.
And I just was like, I'm like, I'm gonna have a bagel today, and I'm gonna share it. I had my sponsee. I made him eat a bagel, and I'm like, I'll have a bagel.
You have some boundaries around the bagel consuming.
Of course, yeah. No, I set these boundaries up, and I go, I'll have a bagel today, and I'll have some of this delicious spread. And I'm going to keep it moving. Yeah. And maybe I'll give some to whoever wants them, but I'm cool. No. End of the day, all I did all day was eat bagels because it was so fucking. I'm like, well, I got to try half of the everything bagel. Well, let me do the onion. Let me do a fourth of the onion bagel, and I'm dipping it. And by the end, I eat bagels for every meal, and that's why I can't have anyone send me fucking bagels.
Yeah, chasing effect.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I have things like that. I don't watch porn because of it. If I watch porn, I binge. I just go nuts. So I don't watch it. I have to eliminate certain things like that.
I'm thinking about that too. I think I had this thought too in the past few days where I'm like, I think I need to eliminate.
It's porn. Better. I feel so much better. I'm so much more sensitive and in touch.
Right.
It's been 7-8 months now.
8 months of no porn, nothing. Not even your explore page,
nothing.
Sometimes my explore page, my algorithm gets so disgusting. You look at one thing.
Oh, you gotta delete that browser afterwards.
That's what I would do. No, on Instagram. Instagram, you can now my explore page is clogged with people doing jujitsu because that's what I save.
Yeah, that's what you're.
And I never save the girl stuff, but then Instagram, once it figures out that because I think they did say that it does the camera looks at your pupils dilated and shit, and it knows, and it's and all of a sudden my page is full of Guyanese women in booty shorts, big tits, just dancing around, and I'm like, I didn't ask to see this, when
I was on Instagram, I would get things in my feed, but it was always disabled people with some kind of deformity.
Yeah, there you go. There
one
it is.
Eye, their cheek was swollen. There's no arm. I was like, why am I getting all?
Because you probably sent something to someone look at this freak, and then they're like, oh, let's flood him.
Look at that mangled piece of shit.
Or maybe that's that's your hidden desire. Read your pupils. You saw a disabled woman, and your pupils dilated, and they're like, flood him.
I mean, if I kept going with pornography, maybe I would have escalated to disabled women. I don't know. You know that
porn is ultimately it's ultimately terrible because in the end it sets a crazy the stand. I mean, we've been plugged into porn since it's
since
forever.
I was like 13.
Yeah, since I was a kid, and when it was inaccessible and I had to go rent it, it was so much better. But I remember I would go to the fucking store on Lincoln and rent porno. I would rent
I used to do the
DVDs,
same thing.
and I'd be in the porn section browsing DVDs and being like, "Oh, I'm gonna get fucking Bang Bros or Mike in Brazil or whatever the fuck."
Hard banging brunettes. That was my favorite.
Yeah, and I'd look at the box and be like, "I hope this is good."
Yeah.
And it's like, you get it home and you watch it and you're like, "I gotta get every drop out of this thing before I return it." Pretty disgusting, pretty fucking gross. And like, even then, I think it's better when you couldn't access it because I can
we're
literally.
lucky. We're lucky it was hard to access. Kids nowadays, they're still 8 years old. It's conditioning their brains fucking warped. They get ED when they're like 18.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
dude, it's fucked up.
It's fucked up. And they're also like coming out the gate, like, first time they have sex, it's like, fuck me in the ass, come on my face, shit on my toes, you know?
Yeah.
Right out the gate. It's like,
Shit
take
on
your
my
time. Shit on my feet. Shit on my feet. They're like 13.
Yeah, that's what you got. That's what they need now.
Yeah. Shit on my fucking feet. So I kind of go crazy and I'm starting to eat all this stuff that I was eating, like another Adam Perry Lane, great barbecue genius.
I've been there. Yeah, I've been to the restaurant over there off Vine.
Right. And now he's doing a pop-up in Pasadena.
Yes, I saw that.
I was talking to him. I got some barbecue from him.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's like day crusher. Like the cornbread was a piece of cornbread this big. Okay, for people listening, I'd say half the size of a brick. A piece of cornbread that big, and it was cornbread cake. It wasn't corn. It was no bread in it. It was corn cake. And I go there, and I always have the best intentions. Like I worked out. I was like, I'm going to work out and not eat, and then go to the Adam Perry Lane, get some barbecue. And then I get there, and then I'm in a car with like the enemy, like corn cake, and I'm in the car with it, and it's like fucking eat me, and I'm just eating pieces of it. And by the time I get home, I'm taking it straight to my girlfriend's house to share it. One piece of cornbread's gone. I go, hey guys, try this cornbread. I don't tell them I already ate a piece.
I've done that before.
Yeah, and her roommate's like, should I heat it up? I'm like, yeah, or just eat it. Just eat it. And I'm trying to get her to eat the whole thing. She eats like half of it. I'm like, aren't you gonna eat it all? She's like, I'm good. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
then you get self-conscious. Like,
yeah, I'm like, can you just, like
normalize my behavior, please.
Yeah, make me feel less of a psycho. Because I do think that there are, like I share this overeating urge with other people, but I think I'm like maybe one of the worst. I mean, there are worse guys,
Yeah, I have those tendencies too. So
Right.
I really try to monitor my diet,
Yeah. Well, I also have acknowledged that I'm going to be on some form of a diet for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That's just it. It's fine. So I overate for 2 weeks, and I've been talking to this
cheat week.
cheat month. Well, the problem is I did a Taco Bell commercial, and from that day on, I've been fucked up. Like, because I did the Taco Bell job, and we did a night shoot at Taco Bell, and I tell the Taco Bell people, I go, listen, and one caveat, I need you to leave behind 2 chefs to stay there through the whole shoot till 3 a.m. to just make us Taco Bell. Yeah. So I would just be like, I would grab a PA and go get me a bean and cheese burrito, extra onions, extra red sauce, extra cheese, extra rice, add rice.
That's what I do.
Right? You do that?
Yeah.
And I go, bring me one of those. And they would make it so hot and fresh, and they bring it to me. Like,
the best you've ever had.
I'm in front of a monitor. It was like transcendent. I'm like, oh, and like I'm zooming back to high school. I'm just like, I'm going back in time with the extra red sauce, because that's how they used to make it, like with better red sauce.
Yeah.
I'm back in time. I'm skateboarding. I'm catching my first tag. I'm having my first beer. It's amazing. And ever since then, I've been just, I used to do Noom. I did Noom really hardcore for 6 or 7 months. That app where you put in the calories and tells you what to eat. And then I fell off after talk. I get disrupted. I do a night shoot. I do a job, and all of a sudden I'm off my fucking shit. And I stayed exercising, but I got disrupted on my eating. So then what I elected to do is like, I'm doing this gut reset cleanse. Now, I'm not a woo-woo kind of guy who believes in that shit all the time, but I'm doing this thing where it's this guy named Dr. Alejandro, referred to me by Pat at Ruka, and Dr. Alejandro says, get my box, and you get this box, and in the box is like, it's a kit. I have it in the other room. And you do a shake for breakfast, a shake for dinner, and in the middle is a lunch. And it's like, you can't eat hot sauce, you can't eat dairy, you can't eat eggs, you can't eat red meat, you can only eat this. It's all this stuff. So like, I've been doing that for the past 4 days. And if nothing, it'll give me a foundation. It's for 3 weeks. It'll give me a foundation to move, like, to feel like I have a little bit of a head start, because I'm falling apart.
Yeah. So is there accountability built in that? Like, you just have to do this? Do you report to anybody, or you just gotta to yourself? This is all you eat. That's it.
That's it. It's like, here's your shake, but you can put stuff in the shake.
It's nice when you have that kind of structure where this is what you do.
I need the structure.
Yeah, don't leave any gray area.
No gray area. Like I know empirically, like when there's gray area, and that's when I fuck around. I'm like, I can have this.
That's the problem with like process addictions. It's like, it's not like black and white, like with alcohol or drugs. You just don't do that. With food, you have to eat food.
That's the thing.
You know, like, and then you have to learn to develop a healthy relationship with it where you're not misusing it. Same with sex, I think, for some people.
Right.
Same with, I don't know, maybe not gambling. You should just not gamble. But
Celtic runes, science fiction, Star Wars.
Maybe social media.
Social media, Social media is the worst.
You know, things like that. So.
Fucking fungo. Dude, I was talking to the barber today. And I said, what the fuck is a Funko Pop? Because he had one. Funko. I go, what the fuck is a Funko Pop? And he kind of explained it to me. And I'm like, so basically, they have a mold. And they go, they paint the thing like Spider-Man. And they resell it. It's just another crazy thing. Like, it's another niche market that's probably worth millions of dollars that I know nothing about. And people are like collecting these things.
Yeah, I've seen that. I have a character from Twin Peaks.
See?
Funko
they do it for everything. It's like you like Twin Peaks, then you have to buy this doll to prove that you like Twin Peaks.
Yeah. It was a gift by Cliff, actually. So
a Cliff gave it to you? What a sweetheart.
So it's 7:05.
Is it?
And I got to get to dinner at 7:30. I have another 5 or 10 minutes if you want to keep it going.
I've got one question from the Discord if we want to.
Sure. Should we do a Discord question?
Yeah.
What do you think so far? Is it pretty good?
Great episode. I mean, it was me using you as a touchstone to yap.
But we got some good stuff in there.
I think so. I think we did great. It was great having you on. You have a soothing presence.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What was the word?
Soothing?
Soothing. Oh, I was like, there's a word I didn't know. What was that? Thank you.
Red flags or tips to look out for when trying to find a good therapist? Question mark. Trying not to waste time and money and get even more stressed.
A therapist that calls you repulsive could be a red flag.
Yeah, like I'm an example of someone you don't want to see. So there.
Can I say therapists that will like? There's a lot of therapists now. No shade, who are doing MDMA with their patients.
Yeah.
Smoking weed with them, maybe they do mushrooms with them.
I don't know if they're doing it with them, but there is a lot of psychedelic support with therapy, like ketamine,
right.
MDMA.
What do you think about that?
That's illegal to do with the psilocybin and MDMA. The ketamine, I'm a supporter of. I've done it myself.
Yeah.
But you have to be discerning and make sure
the
you
MDMA
get the right
is illegal.
Yeah, I mean, eventually it won't be. But it's going to cost like $20,000 to do the therapy. And I think it could be effective. But right now, it is illegal. If you have a therapist that does that, they're breaking the law. So just know that.
You know who you are, you who's doing MDMA with your shrink. You're breaking the law.
Yeah. I also think it depends on what kind of issues you have. I suffer from OCD. So I see someone who specializes in exposure response prevention. That's what you do for OCD. So you have to figure out the type of therapist that would work best for your issues. For trauma, EMDR could be good.
My girlfriend says, you have to go to EMDR. This is what she tells me. You have to go to EMDR. And I'm like, why? I already have a shrink. She's like, you need to go to EMDR.
Yeah, that could be like an adjunct to the therapy. But I have two therapists because I'm so fucking insane. So I have like a Gestalt therapist that I work with my childhood shit, sense of self. And then I have an OCD therapist because OCD is tricky. You have to see a specialist for it. Otherwise, it can get really messy.
I mean, it's good that you're getting. I mean, doesn't mean you're fucked up. It means you're dealing with the issue.
Yeah, I've had it my whole life. That's the way I coped growing up. I
Right.
mean, I had to develop a world within a world to survive.
Yeah.
You know?
Same. Except I didn't. It didn't go into OCD. It went into addiction and other things. But like I found myself at times.
Yes, yeah.
I remember times when I leaned into it a little bit, where I started getting a little like. Started doing a couple of repetitive weird things. I was like, oh, that's what that is.
Yeah, you think it's a solution. Just how you think a drug is a solution.
Yeah.
Or a drink of alcohol. Like with OCD, like you think washing your hands, checking the door, those are your solutions.
Yeah.
In reality, they're not. I mean, it's your brain misfiring, thinking that there's something wrong. You need to do that to feel better. And usually underneath that, there's a lot of discomfort, a lot of pain.
I was on my way to a meeting the other day, and I drove halfway there and came back to make sure I turned off the heating pad that I'm using for my back, which is slightly OCD because I knew it was off.
But some people who have that kind of OCD, I mean, they would have to bring the heating pad with them to assure themselves that it's not on. Even if they took a picture even if they had a video of it.
Right. That
you
it was
know, that's
off.
how crazy.
That's how that.
it can get how nuts it can get. So they would actually have to carry it with them out
To
the
know.
door and bring it to them to the meeting.
Fuck.
You know, it can get really wild.
My girlfriend had dinner with her two friends, and they're married, and they go to the couples therapy not because they have a problem, but because they love it.
I could see that being the case. It's not only to, you know, break up or get back together.
And that's my thing has always been, it's been drilled into my head that couples therapy is the last stop to the end.
It can be an uncoupling process. Like sometimes breaking up is too difficult, so you have a support there to help it happen.
Right.
But I mean, ideally, I think people want to make it work.
I think she knows that I'm such a fucking mess that she's like, I want to preemptively put you in couples therapy with me, even though nothing's wrong right now.
Just like as like almost like a preemptive.
Yeah,
strike.
just like an insurance policy for her.
Like a prophylactic.
Yeah. An emotional prophylactic, because there was a period like a year ago where like things were a little weird, right? And like I got a little weird, and she's like, it was crazy. I'm like, to me, things being a little weird is like, that's nothing, because I come from like house on fire dysfunction.
I'm sure it could be, yeah.
And I'm like, even when we're bad, we're fine. She's like, no, that was terrible. And I'm like, we have a different threshold. Yeah. I'm like, it's not bad until things are breaking and like people are screaming. And someone's setting the cat on fire. That's bad to me. But like anything, a little bit of uncomfortableness or like irritate, I'm like, that's fine.
Well, that's why I tolerated so much bullshit in my life with girlfriends, because I'm the same way. I have a very large threshold for insanity. Right. You know, so moving forward, I think I want a healthier person that has a very small threshold.
And the thing is, you have to, in finding that person that's healthy, there's a lot of intuition. There's a lot of counter intuition, because your receptors want to bond with the dysfunctional shit that seems very
borderline,
hot.
Somersaults, banging the head against
You're like,
the wall.
I need that.
Yeah.
But then
that's the drug.
That's the drug. Yeah. And I have, and I've been there, and I have friends that are there now, and like
I've been there.
Yeah, and like now I'm like with a person who's like super like safe and stable, and it's like, oh, this is nice, and it's like, you had to like settle into it. It's calm. It's not. There's nothing crazy. It's like it's all the same. She's a baseline the same all the time. I love you. Hi. Let's have a great day. Like I'm like, what the fuck?
That's incredible.
Like,
you went from not being able to buy shower curtains at the 3rd Street Promenade to having a Taco Bell commercial and a beautiful, healthy girlfriend.
Can you imagine? Anything's possible. Only in America. See you in hell.
Incredible.
That's funny. Do we have no ads? See, this is why the show's dying. Listen, guys.
All we need is 2 ads per episode, guys, so you can get us advertisers.
Guys, listen. We're either gonna here's our 4 options. We're either going to start a Patreon and firewall the YouTube. We're either gonna have to get more ads and partner with a network, or we're gonna have to start selling PTA coffee mugs that I'm gonna have to design and produce.
We can do that.
Here's my first prototype. What do you think of this mug? Can you psychoanalyze this mug I made?
It's overcompensating for something.
Oh man, god damn. That's fucked up. Okay, wait, I actually made this one. This is undercompensating, right?
Yeah.
What would you say from looking at this?
I think you're getting sensitive with that one.
I'm getting sensitive.
Yeah, you're going
psychoanalyzing my mugs. Look at this fucking mug.
Yeah. The amplification actually works when you hold it up.
How do you guys feel about this show? Write and subscribe, like and subscribe, save the show.
I think you should keep it going. I think you should have me on again.
You want to come on? Yeah, I'd love to have you on.
Let's do it. I unfortunately have to go.
It's all about numbers, baby. If you spike the numbers, you're on forever.
I'm spiking those.
You might spike those numbers.
Yeah, I got.
Or if it actually no, if the numbers are baseline, I'll keep you on. If numbers tank, I can't have you on again. Right?
Okay.
No, I love Dr. Nipples. Yeah. I listen. My only thing with Dr. Nipples is like I feel like the next time you come on, we got to have someone else here to psychoanalyze.
Yeah, we got to bring someone down.
Yeah, we got to listen. Heavy. I had Heavy on. I know you have to go, but
he's medicated.
He is.
Is that what was going on?
I don't know what happened. He might have been, but he was so even and so calm that I'm like, you're useless to me.
Yeah.
It's only good if you come on and you're trying to make me so angry I want to kill you. That's great radio.
Yeah.
He seemed medicated to me, even though he said
he needed it. He
was borderline like
something's wrong with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what did it for me when I was sitting here? He told me to move. In a very rude manner.
Yeah,
that's why I got triggered. That's why I didn't like that.
That's the thing that he doesn't get is that all the histrionic crazy shit aside, it's the being rude to people that you don't know. That to me is a crazy thing because you don't know any of us.
Yeah,
you could snap. I'm always like, don't be rude to anybody. You don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, I mean it was all fun and jest. We had a good time.
Move.
But
Yeah.
What?
Well, I wish we could. We should have another episode where we talk about Johnny and Amber.
We can do that.
Total
sex and love addicts right there.
Yeah.
Shitting in the bed.
Shitting in the bed. Yeah.
They need a program.
They need a program. Yeah. They need something. They need a new pirate franchise. Just those two.
Yeah.